Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video. First things first, guys, make sure you smash the like, subscribe if you're new around here, and as always, leave your thoughts in the comments below. And something a little bit different in today's video. International break is done now. Premier League action back this weekend, but we're going to be doing a keep, sell, loan for the current Chelsea squad, and of course, any potential summer signings that could come in. Delighted to be joined by Kev for this one, bro. Welcome. Thanks for coming as always. Always a pleasure to catch up. Let's dive straight into this, bro. Obviously, we've spent a lot of money. It's been well documented. And I think we're probably going to be pretty busy again this summer as well with outgoings and probably a few incomings. Bro, we start with the goalkeepers. Obviously, Kepa to come back. We know he's leaving, so there's no point doing him on the list. But I think we can safely say that, Bettinelli as a third choice goalkeeper, just keep him. He's not going to play and he's just good vibes around the place. And I think we could probably agree on Petrovic as well. He's been exceptional since he's come in. I think he is the number one now and should be long-term going forward, certainly over the next couple of seasons. Robert Sanchez, mate, where do you stand with him? Because I look at it this summer and I think goalkeeper's not a priority right now. I think somewhere along the line over the next 2 to 3 years, maybe we'll look at bringing in one of the best in the world in goal. But I think right now it's definitely not a priority. Sanchez will want to be a number one. He's obviously, we gave him a 7-year contract and probably wasn't the best idea. He has struggled. He's had some good moments, some not so good moments, lost his place in the side, and right now is going to struggle to get it back. I mean, I just think for the sake of the hassle, it's going to cause us to look for another goalkeeper. And the fact that there's no way anyone's going to pay more than a 20 million that we signed him for, or close to even, I would probably end up keeping him. But I would be tempted to sell, but I just think for the hassle, I'd probably keep him. I mean, where do you stand with this one?
He hasn't done himself any justice in the games that he's came in. And it's clear to see the difference with the back four when he does play. We tend to try and play a bit more at the back when he's there, and that's a bad thing for us. Negative football invites pressure, and we've conceded plenty of chances this season as well as goals. I just think he's just bad for the team. I think if you're going to have him sitting on the bench, there's no point doing it. I just think if we can get a substantial amount of money for him, just get him gone. So for me personally, I'll be looking to sell. Even the last game against Leicester, the game before the international break, it's just a simple pass back from Disasi. Why is he coming at an angle? Why is he coming all the way there when all he had to do is shift a tiny bit to his right? And it's just an easy pass back. You can see that the defence, there's no communication between him and any who the defenders he plays with. So it's just bad news all around. For me personally, Charlie, I'll be looking to sell.
Yeah, no, bro, I hear it. We're definitely more nervous when he plays 100%. You notice that the calmness is not there when he's in goal. It's all a bit more panicky. Fully hear those things. I just don't like, unless we're prepared to accept that we're going to take a loss on him and we made a mistake, then I don't see him leaving this summer. But if it, I guess, I fully hear the shouts to sell him. And, if it was possible to do so, then I think it would be the right move for the club. It just means that we'd need to sign another goalkeeper, unless we potentially thought that Slonina might be ready. But I don't think that's the case. Moving away from the goalkeepers, then let's move to defence. Obviously, we already know Thiago Silva is, and it's not been confirmed, but we know he's leaving. I think we can obviously safely say that Levi Colwell is going to be here next season. We can safely say that we agree on Malo Gusto.
Well, you put him in the wrong one.
Oh, yeah, but I'm putting him in sell. Jesus. Yeah, we'd be in big trouble there if we were doing that. Bloody hell. I think we safely keep Gusto, keep obviously Levi Colwell. I think Disasi to stay as well. Right, let's talk fullbacks, because there's I mean, Reece James obviously is a keep also. The left back situation's interesting, isn't it? Because obviously, Ian Martson, do I think would he be good enough as a left back? I don't know, but I think personally we should have at least given him an opportunity to prove himself. The fact we didn't give him the opportunity doesn't sit that well with me. He's doing well at Dortmund now. There's a £35 million release clause in the contract. I fully expect him to leave this summer. Poch clearly doesn't rate him or whatever. And I expect him to go. I just wish he'd been given an opportunity to maybe show what he could do at left back. But I guess, it's clear that, the club are ready to cash in on him. I mean, would you have liked to have kept him?
100%, but I believe he's already been sold. I think with this Dortmund deal, I think he was loaned out with a view to buy. I think if he does well at Dortmund, which he's been doing now, I think they'll come up with the money and buy him. It's looking pretty obvious that will be the solution. And I just never thought he had his opportunity. I think in the pre-season, he did pretty well, even though he didn't play at left back. But when he got on the ball in certain games, I think it was against Brighton in the pre-season, he got an assist for Nico Jackson. He looked pretty well. But obviously, his height doesn't do him any favours. He's a pretty small guy. He's good on the ball, quick. He can get a cross in. But obviously, Pochettino doesn't rate him highly enough to keep him. And obviously, with the FFP and everything going around the club, it's a straight profit on the book. So I believe he will be shipped off, let's say. So he'll probably go into the sell section, unfortunately. But it's unfortunate he hasn't been given his chance because there's definitely a player there.
No, mate, I agree. I think one of the big reasons that he's not been given a chance is his height, and I know height's not everything. And if you're like on the smaller side, doesn't mean you're not a good player. But I think Pochettino particularly seems to really value height in the back line. And Martin obviously.
I don't know why because we still can't defend crosses and
we're still letting a lot of goals in, whether we've got a load of big guys or not. But look, I think, as I said, should have been given the chance. He's not been given the chance. He's done. I don't see him playing again. The only opportunity potentially is if a new manager did turn up and maybe fancied him and given him a go. But I still think even at that situation did occur, I still think it's a bit of a long shot. So regrettably, Martin goes. Ben Chilwell, mate, obviously vice captain, signed a new contract not too long ago. A lot of people are not the biggest fans of him right now. A lot of people I'm seeing would be happy to see him go. It's clear that the long-term injuries haven't helped him. He's not reached that pre-injury form that we saw him do so well in obviously in the back three under Thomas Tuchel and whatnot. It's not quite materialised yet, which is to be expected. Look, to be honest, he might not get back to that level. I think he's good going forward. I don't think he's the best defensively. I still think he's massively short of minutes. And I would personally keep him because I do think he still has value and can still offer something to the team. But I'm not necessarily sure if he should be the automatic first choice that perhaps he once was.
It's a really difficult one. One, he's been given this long-term contract and it's 200 grand a week, I'm hearing, so a lot of bread. Second of all, he's been given the badge vice captain, so he's one of the key members within the squad. And thirdly, there is an excellent player in there, but we haven't seen it the last 2 years. There's no sugarcoating it. We have not seen the Ben Chilwell that we saw during the Champions League winning campaign, and it's just too much injuries. It's clearly not fit enough to play for the club. Like even just before the international break, he was having injuries with his groin or calf or something like that. So it's always the same thing with Ben Chilwell. If it's not his hamstring, it's his calf. If it's not his groin, it's his knee. It's just always something. Has the guy got any working ligaments left? And this is what I'm getting to. If you're on 200 grand a week and can't have a run of games, let's say 10 games in a row, clearly not cut out for Charles Football Club. And if you're paying 200 grand a week, you expect your players to be at a level. And he played against Brazil during the week. I don't know if you've seen it. Some of the errors he was making, the overheating crosses, putting the ball at a play, he just doesn't seem to be the player that we had during the Champions League winning campaign. So for me personally, if we can get the money from which is looking unlikely, it'd be a sell.
I'd give him one more season. But if he can't stay fit or the performance levels aren't there next season, then I think not this summer but the following summer, then yeah, I think it's definitely what one way you'd look at trying to move him on, because he's 27 now. I think he's not old, but like obviously he's one of the older players in the squad. And I think, look, one more season just to see if he can put these injury things behind him and try and get back to some sort of form. But absolutely, if we don't see a decent improvement next season, then for sure I think there's a conversation to be had about trying to move him on. Cucurella, another one who's come in for big money. Difficult start to his Chelsea career. I actually, do you know what, bro? Despite what a lot of people think, I actually like him. I actually think he's all right.
Yeah.
I think he's good. I mean, look, he's not as good going forward as Ben Chilwell, but certainly defensively, I think he's better. The club, from what the reports have been saying, would be open to letting him leave this summer. Look, we're not going to get anywhere near the money we spent on him, but mate, I actually like him, and I don't know. I don't think Chilwell and Cucurella. All right, it's not the best choice of left backs, but I don't think it's horrendous. I mean, like we'd be looking to bring in a younger left back. I mean, ironically, if Martson wasn't on our books and he was playing for Dortmund now, he's a sort of guy we'd probably look at trying to sign. But I mean, for me, Cucurella, I would personally keep him, but I think it's clear that they are going to try and sell him, but there'll be interest from Italy and Spain in Cucurella for sure. But bro, how do you see him? I think he deserves another chance.
Cucurella 100%. He scored and had a good performance against Leicester. He scored his first goal at Stamford Bridge. You could see the confidence oozing through the player, and fair play to him. He come under a lot of stick last year, and I think his performances last year, it was embarrassing for a 65 million paying player. The way I seen him pass that ball back against West Ham, Mudryk was calling for the ball, and he kept on passing it back and back and back, and the confidence was gone in the player. But he's come under a lot of pressure. He's had a lot of injuries. Come back off an ankle injury. He's come back, and he's proved himself that his mentality is in the right place. Definitely deserves to stay over, especially over Chilwell. I think the guy hasn't put a foot wrong since he's come back, and Chilwell, we can say, hasn't not been the same player. Unfortunately, it's just one of them things. We pay 65 million pounds for him. The owner's going to have to take at least a 30 million pound loss on him if they were to sell him. But it's one of them ones. I think Chilwell and Cucurella, similar kind of players. Chilwell probably a tiny bit better going forward, but if I had to choose out of the two, it'd be Chilwell. I think I like the solidarity you're getting from Cucurella. I think Chilwell going backwards is open. The way he seems to get lost out there. He doesn't know when to go forward, doesn't know to go back. But Cucurella is a solid. He's there. He can tackle. He doesn't let the opposing wingers turn him. It just seems like he's a lot more clued up in that area. So Cucurella definitely gets another season, 100%.
Yeah, no, mate, I agree. It's going to be interesting to see what we do, because ideally we want to try and find a Malo Gusto type player at left back. But I mean, I don't know the left back market very well at all.
I've just touched upon that. Yeah, there's coming out recently. A player that I've been following the last couple of years, a youngster from Germany. Luca Netz, have you heard the name?
Oh yeah, he's done well in the international break.
Yeah, he's rapid. Oh, was he in the Germany team?
Yeah, he's in the German team now.
Yeah, there you go. He's absolutely rapid, strong. He's tall. Like, the thing for me, it strikes me. Which thing I like about him the most is he's about 6'1". He's tall, strong, quick. Get the ball in. That's what we need now. We need an all energy. We need a Gusto, but on the left hand side.
Yeah, I mean, bro. I mean, we've been linked with Anthony Robinson at Fulham. Mate, I like him. Looks a good player. Again, Fulham don't need to sell. Would cost a lot of money. I suspect, mate, if we get rid of Cucurella, which I think there's a high chance that happens this summer, then we are going to be looking at a younger left back, one that can bomb up and down the pitch, and there's resale value and there's a lot of room for development. I don't know who that person would be, but Yeah, I
There's
think.
Espinano as well from Brighton.
Yeah, I mean,
Ecuadorian.
I don't think we can go
Yeah.
back there again too soon. But
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
another good player. But yeah, I mean, the fullback is difficult to find quality in those areas for a decent price. But yeah, it certainly seems to me that Cucurella, they're going to
Yeah.
try and move him on. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. Sticking with defence, I mean, obviously Malang Sarr is sell. He doesn't even play.
He's up. He's up.
Yeah. Alfie Gilchrist Samime is a loan. 100%. That's the next step for him.
Experience. Yeah.
I've put that's the wrong person there. That's Badia Shill. Let me just put him back down there. That's
and a bit of a Oxlade Chamberlain.
Kieran Gibbs there. Badia Shill is obviously is a keep. There's quality there. Bro, where do you stand on Trevor Chalobah, by the way? Because for me,
he's gone.
We know he's gone and he's going to be sold, mate. I like him, and for the sake of, I think he's good. Like, I'm not saying to start, but like as a fourth or fifth choice or whatever.
Yeah, I just think it's the best thing to do. Selling him. We coming under a lot of scrutiny about the FFP. I think any loose plays that we can look to shift on, I think it would be the right thing to do. And I think it'd be good for Chalobah as well I don't think he deserves to be sitting on the bench. I think if he goes
he's too good to sit on the bench.
If he goes to a Fulham, a Crystal Palace, any team like that, he goes there, gets some game time, and it's a win-win. He hasn't come back and he hasn't exactly done anything. His defensive skills, especially against Leeds, when he got caught over the ball for their cross, just simple things as a defender. When they scored a second goal, he's basically watching the ball came over his head, and it was a simple headed goal. So stuff like that irritates me. It's just basic stuff. Never let attacker get behind you. You should always see the attacking player's number. So for me personally, if we can get 25-30 million pounds for him, I think it's best on both sides. So he'd probably be sold.
Yeah, no, I think it's clear he'd be sold. I mean, I'd keep him if he's happy to be sort of a rotation option. I just think that's easier than selling him and then trying to find someone else to bring in to kind of play that role. It's quite a hard role to sell to a potential signing. Wesley Fofana, we haven't seen him this season. We spent a lot of money on him.
One more season left in him.
This is a big season for him. Like, he needs to. I mean, like Reece James, like Chilwell, next season, these guys, they need to be fit. They need to be fit for minimum 3/4 of the season. They have to.
Mate, they just need to be able to play 5 games in a row.
Well,
you're a professional footballer and can't play 5 games in a row. Like, there's kids that are playing semi-pro that can play 30 games in a row.
I mean, to be fair, on the Fofana one, I mean, it was an ACL injury picked up in training, which is kind of a mad one. I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, I don't know what the circumstances were, but look, even without that, he's had injuries at Leicester. He's had injuries with us last season. Yeah, this was he broke his leg at Leicester. Like, it was the terrible challenge in pre-season from someone on him, which obviously that's not his fault. But yeah, look, these guys, they like him, Chilwell, Reece James, like they've got to stay fit for minimum 3/4 of a campaign, because otherwise, I don't care how good you are, if you're not available, you're not helping the team. So,
and I say that about the same about Reece James as well. I believe these players have got the last season. Chilwell, James, Fofana, Lavia, biggest crunch time from Nkunku. The 5 of them, it's been abysmal. Nothing short of abysmal this season. They have played 10 games between them. And we're talking about probably £500 million of talent there if you put it all together. Do the maths.
Yeah, so, we need like, for me, mate, honestly, I think Fofana, if he gets to his top level and stays fit, he's a starter. He's a top defender, a really good defender. But yeah, look, next season is obviously massive for him. If we move on to, I think that's defence done now. Let's move on to the midfield. I mean, the obvious ones that are clearly staying: Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo. That's Ugo Chukwu, even. That's the wrong guy. Caicedo. they're definitely staying. We know that Romeo Lavia is not going anywhere. Unfortunately, he's been ruled out for the remainder of the season, but he's still only 20, he's 20 years old.
He's after.
Recover. He's a top player. I think he's going to be massive for us. So yeah, I've got obviously we don't want to have a recurrence of the injury problems next season, but yeah, I haven't got any concerns over him. Obviously the big one, I mean, let's just quickly get these loan ones out of the way. Andre Santos, I think, is an obvious loan. Again, as is
loan. But the thing is, loan these players to teams that are going to play them.
Yeah.
But it's the whole that Charlie, me and you are not professionals at the moment, but we can at least do some research into a team that needs a player of this mold and send him there so he's getting looked after, he's getting the right minutes. So
the loans this season have been poor. Most of them have been terrible.
The thing is, though, it's affecting their careers because they've had these players now going to have a year out of the game where they've not progressed their careers. Let's send them to a team where they're going to play. Simple as that.
I think this is why the multi-club model is going to be key for us. Obviously, we've got Strasbourg. We need another couple so we can send more players out. Ugo Chukwu, for me, I mean, he's been injured since the Wolves game at Christmas Eve. I'd be looking to loan him out as well. And then Chukwuemeka is obviously a straight up keep. I think there's a phenomenal talent, and there's a lot of talent there. Again, needs to try and keep himself fit. He's been plagued by injury for large parts of this season. The big one that obviously is the debate, Conor Gallagher. For me personally, I'd keep him not as a starter, but as someone that can play that squad role. It's important to have players that are in and around the squad that understand what it means to play for Chelsea, get the DNA of the club. And as a rotation option, I think he's worth keeping around the place. So for me, I would offer him a new deal. He's the sort of guy, he loves Chelsea. He'd be happy to. Obviously, he wants to play all the time, but I think he'd be accepting of a squad role. And it just makes sense on all fronts. His form this season deserves a new deal. It's as simple as that for me. I mean, where do you stand with him?
Conor Gallagher, we were talking about, yeah?
Yeah, Gallagher, yeah.
Gallagher, I'm all up for keeping him, but under the terms that he's a squad player. I think Conor Gallagher absolutely loves the club. He's a perfect role model for the club. He gets on with his game, doesn't moan. He seems to have a cracking personality, and this is the reason why his work rate's phenomenal. Everything about the guy is likable, but the fact of the matter is he good enough for Chelsea?
I think in a squad capacity, yes.
Squad, yeah, 100%. And it was clear to see against Brazil again when I watched the game. He doesn't get on the ball enough from midfielder. As a mid-centre midfielder, I just want you to be making little triangles, getting on the ball, just pushing it left to right, and just getting on the ball. He seems to be off the ball. He doesn't seem to be with it. But when the opposing team's got the ball, brilliant. He can chase the ball all day. But we need more from him. I think he's still fairly young. I think he probably got a bit more to do with him. So personally, if he knows that he's going to be a squad player, keep him. But if he's under the impression that he's going to be a starter, he'd have to be a sell.
Yeah, no, mate, I hear what you're saying on that one. Yeah, who else we got going on here?
Mudryk a bit.
Yeah, I mean, Mudryk's obviously is a keep, as is Cole Palmer. These are pretty straightforward ones. As is Nico Jackson, as is Christopher Nkunku. Obviously, he's had an injury-plagued season, but he's certainly a keep. Raheem Sterling is, in my opinion, bro, 100% a sell. I know we're not going to be able to sell him this summer because no one's going to give him the wages other than Saudi, and you don't want to go there. But next season, from where I see it, mate, I think we've got one more season of Sterling, and then we'll sell him because at the end of next season, it'll be 2 years left on his deal, and we either get offered a new contract with 2 years left, or you're sold. And there's no way Sterling's getting a new contract. So I'd like to sell him this summer, but I think unfortunately we're going to be stuck with him for one more season. I mean, I presume you're in the same boat as me on Sterling. It's not worked. Need to get rid.
we have done this video fairly early. We should have really done it at the end of the season, but you never know with football. You never know. We're going into the semi-final of the FA Cup. Potentially get to the final. We've still got European spots to play for. His last game he had against Leicester, I cannot think of a worse
I
performance
honestly think,
from a
mate, it's
player.
the worst individual performance
It
from a
was.
player
He should have had it.
I've personally seen when I've been at a
Yeah,
game.
mate, he's had a lot of them this season. I think against Wolves, we was at the game. Could have
None as bad as this
just,
one, though.
just been it's been comical, some of the decisions he's made. And you're talking about one of your experienced players who's been there and done it. Only 2 years ago, he got the player of the tournament at the Euros, and the guy just doesn't seem like he cares. He just look. Typical example. I was literally sitting in the east stand for the first goal, and who got him behind? Nico Jackson got him behind, and Cucurella has literally overtaken him for a tapping.
Yeah.
Sterling, it does not look. I was like, Sterling, run, run, run. Cucurella comes tapping. Sterling should have been getting it. If he was hungry enough, fit enough, he could have got himself a tap. He probably would have missed it. Probably would have. But end of the day, it doesn't seem like he wants to be here. And it's going to have an effect. He should be setting an example for these young ones. And for him to be snatching balls of Palmer from free kicks and hitting it in Rolls head and taking penalties and scruffing the shot, bad. It's bad for the team. If Saudi Arabia come up with the money, sell him. And it's unfortunate because to think about it, technically, he's the best player we've got. When you think about it, if you look at it in the whole light of things, he's our best player, but his performances this season have been awful. So
Yeah, they haven't been good enough. I mean,
no,
in terms of Washington, young forward, that's an obvious loan.
yeah,
Moreira,
loan.
probably a loan. I mean, the last loan didn't really work out for me. That's definitely a loan.
Yeah.
Bro, where do you stand with Noni Madueke? Mate, I like him. I think there's quality there. I think there's ability there. Needs a run of games.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard some people saying that he could potentially benefit from a loan next season.
Yeah.
It depends it depends if we bring anyone in, but I think we're only going to bring in someone in those kind of wide attacking areas if someone else leaves because we've got so many options in there.
Yeah.
I'd personally keep him, but I could understand why people might say loan.
I am completely on the loan at the moment. I think we need if Sterling's not performing and Madueke is inconsistent, we need a consistent winger. To obviously gonna have Palmer on the right. We need a left winger who's gonna get us more goals and assists. And I quite like this Williams Jr.
Oh, Nico Williams, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a phenomenal player, absolutely amazing player. His balance, skill, everything. He's got pretty good numbers. I think it's 10 goals this season, and I'm sure he's got quite a lot of assists as well. I should have done my research on it, but from what I've seen this season, he's lit the Spanish league up, and a lot of teams, I think Barcelona, are for him. I think if we got someone like that, I think he's shown consistency throughout the season. That's what I want to see. I think with Sterling, with the way it's ifs or buts. With Madueke against Villa, absolutely phenomenal. Got given his opportunity against Palace, didn't take his chance. And this is what we kind of have again going into next season. I think we need a winger now who's going to give us the platform to give us a good run of games where he's either chipping in with an assist, chipping in with a goal. Even if he has a bad performance, he's still showing the consistency. And I believe Madueke, I think if he had a loan, I think Crystal Palace would be the perfect place for him to go and do his thing. Give him a loan there for a season, get him some more experience in the Prem, and then hopefully next year, say if Sterling goals, he can replace a more experienced player in the squad.
This for me is why qualifying for Europe is so important, even if it's Conference League. I know we don't want Conference League, mate. We need the games. Like even just doing this now, you can see how many players we actually have. Playing once a week is not enough for these players. I don't care if it's Conference League. We just need more games so we can give these guys more minutes. You can like if we ended up in the Conference League, then you can play your Maduekes in all those games. You can play your Chukwuemekas and you can play loads of these guys in all these games, and it's going to be beneficial. For me, yeah, I would probably agree on the Madueke loan. And then the final one, mate, Amanda Broja. I think that's a clear sell. The loan to Fulham hasn't worked out. Yes, we've banked 4 million, but he's not played. The whole point of that loan was to increase his value for the summer. It's done anything but that. Yeah, I know we had the bad injury. He just isn't cut out. He's just not good enough for Chelsea. There's interest. I think there has been from the likes of West Ham. There's been interest from Italy and whatnot. I don't know if that interest will still be there this summer, but ultimately, just not good enough.
Yeah. I just believe he got. I think after Christmas, that was his chance. I think when Jackson went to the Jackson, and the ball. He does the ball doesn't stick. He does it. He seems to be very naive, very immature with his play. He doesn't know when to come, doesn't know where to go. Bags of ability when he's on the ball, but he doesn't know when to come get it. Like he'll drop deep and the ball will bounce off his feet. We're going to the box when he doesn't need to, and it's just a bit too, what's the word? Like immature. I think we need a more experienced striker. So get rid of Bro. I think if 30 million, 25 million pound would be a reasonable. Okay, it's been touted that we want 50 million pound from him. I don't know where
we would never get.
I do not know where these owners are going with 50 million pound because they've made mistakes in the past to believe that if we get 25 million pound from him, just to sell the lad, let him try and progress. Because when he was at Southampton before his knee injury,
he had half. Bro, the thing is at Southampton, like
potential.
For half a season, he was decent, and the second half of the season, he dropped off. But it's not the required quality. Jackson's clear of him. Experienced, a top quality centre forward will come in this summer. We need obviously Broja's kind of surplus to requirements. Look, selling this summer. One, two, three.
Oh, okay. One player you missed off, Charlie. One player which has come up today, and his comments yesterday pissing me off. I think one of the interviewers after the game asked him, when you come to England, do you have to put more performance? Do you have to prove yourself? And he's the cheek of him said, go and ask Chelsea. And I'm talking about the man, Romelu Lukaku.
Do you know what it is with him, mate? Like, it
stinks.
It's one of the biggest what ifs, right? Because if his attitude wasn't so bad,
his ability,
if he was happy to, apologize and Pot's just happy to have him back and whatnot, bro. Like, if his attitude wasn't so bad, we wouldn't be having this striker problem right now, because he is basically everything we're looking for: pace, power, goals, good in the air, physical.
His assist last night.
Yeah, and we're looking at it, and we're just like, this is what we need. But I don't see that happening. I mean, look, he's doing well at Roma, which is good for us because it means that someone's going to buy him for 37 million euros this summer. But it's a shame, mate. It's one of the, I don't often look back at signings with regret, but that one for me is just one of the ones where I'm just like, it could have been so different, because he started so well, then the interview happened, and then it just kind of all fell apart from there. But bro, I'll be honest, mate. If he was prepared to apologise, mate, I'd have him back, because ultimately, mate, I'd rather have Lukaku back for say 12 or 18 months than go and spend over 100 million on Osimhen this summer.
I just believe the damage is done, mate.
It probably is.
It really is. I think 90% of the fan base will not. If he has a couple of, think about it, it's very high risk. If he comes back and he doesn't perform after say 2 or 3 games, just think of the stick he's going to get.
No,
it's just not going to work, Charlie.
But he'd have to. But I mean, look, football fans are fickle in that.
It's a funny old game.
It is. If he come back, it's all ifs and buts. I don't think it's going to happen. But if he come back and started banging the goals in, people would soon forget about what had happened before. But it's funny, isn't it? Because he's exactly the sort of player we're looking for. We've got one on our books, but it's kind of all fell apart. But the striker's going to be interesting this summer. see what happens on that front. The business in general is going to be interesting. But yeah, guys, that's just our thoughts on the Chelsea squad right now as it stands, sort of end of March. Thoughts could definitely change between now and the end of the season. But yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Kev, thanks for your time as always, mate. Greatly appreciate it. Good to catch up, brother. Yeah, guys, make sure you smash the like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and we'll catch you again in another one soon.